All right, Alamac here. We've pretty much gone through and changed every fluid on this car, changed and flushed. So last thing to do is the oil. I saved that for last because if you don't know how to do the oil, then I think you probably spend a little bit of time with car familiarity probably before you go to some of the other projects. But we're gonna go ahead and go through it. So on top is our oil dipstick and fill plug just for reference. All right, now under here on the passenger side, there's the oil pan and oil filter. So we're gonna drain this. Car is nice and hot from driving around earlier. So that should come out pretty good. You want the oil pretty hot to get all the sludge up in there to come out. All right, oil plugs out and draining. That's a 14 millimeter, by the way. And it looks like previous owner put a little silicone or some crap around there, so hopefully that's not leaking, but we're gonna clean that up and maybe see if I can find a crush washer for this. And we're gonna pull that oil filter off once that finishes draining. And that pretty much started draining, so I got my hands on here and loosened the filter up, so that'll start draining. And let's get that the rest of the way off. There we go. Let that all drain out and drip dry. All right, got the gasket surface all cleaned up. Make sure we get a good seal. Now this is our new oil filter. If you look on the side of it, most of them have directions on it. This one tells you to clean it off, pre-fill with oil, and turn till hand tight, then another 3/4 turns. So we're gonna do pretty much that. All right, and this car takes 5W30 oil. And how do I know that? In the operator's manual, and it says so on the oil cap. Usually will, not always. So let's pre-fill this filter with oil and install it. All right, that's pre-filled. We got a little layer of oil around the gasket there, so that'll help with sealing. And go ahead and install that. Make sure you don't cross thread. All right, we got that about hand tight. I'm gonna grab a little strap wrench and do another 3/4 of a turn. All right, this is kind of a weird angle and there's a lot in the way, but that's not quite an extra 3/4 of a turn, but I think that'll be tight enough. About as tight as I can get it. So when we start up, we'll check under, make sure it doesn't leak. So time to clean that off and put the plug back in. All right, got that cleaned up. Not sure why this guy had a washer stuck to that, but the plug has some soft little sealer there, so we're gonna screw that back in and hopefully it won't leak. All right, make sure that's nice and snug. I think that's good. I'm gonna fill her up with oil. All right, we pretty much filled up. Got it 5W30. Got it filled almost right to the high dot, but keep in mind this is on an angle and the car hasn't been run yet. So we're gonna drive it off the ramps, let the oil circulate for 30 seconds or a minute or something, cut it off and check it again. And that's gonna be where we get the correct height at. All right, we drove it down, we're on flat ground, put in park, cut it off, and we're gonna check the oil level again. That's gonna be where we get the final height at. All right, had to add just a tiny bit more, but I think that's right where I want it. The oil is right below the full line. Definitely don't want to be overfilled. Tiny bit underfilled would be better than overfilled. So we can call that good, cap it, and should be okay to drive.